Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm painting some cultists, and I wanted to kind of show everybody how I'm painting these cultists in a pretty quick manner, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that are jumping on the chaos bandwagon. You know, I'm doing my own custom scheme for my warband, and this is the colors. This is one of the lords that I have. This is going to be, what is it? Calibite green, and this is Cantor blue. And then I'm using these, this green. It is just this Tesseract Glow. It's kind of like an accent, and going with reds for the cloths and stuff like that. But I've actually been mixing up the cloths on the actual Marines, just because, you know, the idea is it's undivided warband, and you know, with that ambiguous color scheme, I can use any rules I want. But so I'm painting up the cultists similarly. I've got a few that I've been working on here, just so you can see them. It's not really a crazy paint job on them, but they kind of match. I'm trying to stick with the colors. You got the red, and then you got the Calibite green. You go for like a rusty kind of crappy look on them. And this is one of the old Renegade torso bits with like a guardsman. And on the guardsmen, I'm kind of painting the las guns, going over them first with, you know, whatever the camo shade is. I think it's, I don't know where it is right now. Castilian green, I think it is. And then I'm just kind of dabbing on randomly the two colors that are like the primary colors for the Legionnaires, so they can show their loyalty. This is one that I just painted today, and he didn't take too long. Usually I've been painting them in groups of two, but the way I'm doing these guys is first I started out, I did this with an airbrush. I've got a few here that I'm sitting in front of me right now, but I primed them black, and then after I primed them black, I went over them, and from the top, I gave them a quick spray of just like a white primer to kind of, you know, do kind of a zenithal type thing. And then after that, I went over them with an airbrush with, I think it's like bestial brown or beast brown or something from Vallejo. And then I just, part of the reason for that is because, you know, I wanted to have a rusty kind of look on them. And so all the metal and stuff is done with, you know, as a brown base, and then like also that kind of covers all the straps and stuff like that. They're all already brown, so it takes, it's just like one less color I have to actually do. But you could easily just go over it with like a Mornfang brown or, you know, something like that. I'll say this about browns as an undercoat. You can really, especially if you're doing like reds, it really brings out a lot of the colors. And if you're trying to do something, make something look, you know, all worn up and crappy, like starting with a brown is really good. But anyway, so what I would do first here is I would get like a crappy brush. Now this is an old GW brush that I had from years and years ago. And I'm going to take some metallic paint, and I'm using the Iron Warriors GW here. It's a good color. It's a nice dark brown, and I'm going to get some paint on my brush just a little bit and just kind of scrape it off, because I'm kind of doing like a little weird dry brush type technique with this stuff. I'm not actually painting it on. So I'm going to take, and I'm going to go over the, that is not focusing very well for you, is it? I don't know why. Probably all these reflection. Let's get rid of that. Maybe that'll help. Yeah. So now I'm just going to dab some of the paint off, and I'm just kind of going to drag this across this little auto gun. I'm not applying it, I'm just dragging it. You can see that's going to leave some of the brown recesses showing a little bit. You're not trying to do anything real particular here. I'm just going over the metal bits. So like this buckle right here, I'll hit that a little bit, and the mask, the rebreather mask, I'll just kind of swipe it on there, and that's it. That's all I'm going to do here. And make sure we get the back pretty good, because we're going for rust action on these guys. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over his hood. The last guy I painted, he had that Calibite green hood, so I'm going to take this dude, get my good brush, and I'm going to use the Cantor blue, and I'm just going to hit his cowl and his hood real quick. Just being real quick about it, you're gonna have a unit of 10 to 20 of these guys and multiples of them. In the current codex, you have to have some Space Marines to actually take them. I think it's like Terminators or Legionaries, or I think the Raptors. You can take them with the Raptors as well. For every one unit of those, you can take a unit of cultists, and the unit of cultists, 10-man units, about 50 points. 20-man unit, it's about 100, and they can take. They have like 3 weapon options. I think it's maybe 3. It's like flamers, heavy stubbers, and grenade launchers, and for the first 10 you can take 3 of those weapons. Being real careful, trying not to get that blue on that metal we already painted, but we're not being too precise. And then after I think it's 15 in the unit, you can buy another 3 weapons, and they also have a unit champion, and when the unit champion has some options. Alright, so we've got the blue down. We're just going to go. This guy is really trying to get noticed by his overlords, so he's going to have his coat is going to be the Calibite green color. So notice what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to avoid the brown on the belt and all the little straps. Just paint around them. Like that. I know this something about this quality. I wonder if there's just some crap on the lens. But anyway, this is a real quick job. I'm not trying to spend too much time on these guys. They're really fragile, and they're blobs. So I'm just trying to get some color on these dudes. Nothing too crazy. I don't know what to do with that paint. Yep. Alright, let's keep going with this cloak here. Cloak, trench coat is probably more, that's what you would call this thing. See, I'm getting some on the belt there, and that's not good, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter, because this guy's going to get after I get these primary colors on him, I'm going to go around and get this particular model has little bandages around his boots and around his hands and stuff, and I'll probably paint those a color. I've been using like Screaming Skull or whatever it is. It's like a white, off-white color, and that looks really good. It's like, he had some, he just found some cloth, and he's just trying to keep this crap together, because he's not outfitted by any mega supply chain or anything. He's just He's just trying to get favor of his masters, if you want to call them that, his liberators, which I'd like to think of them as. Alright, so there we go. His coat's pretty much done, other than the inside. Just slap some color in there real quick. Yeah. Oh, bad camera angle. Alright, so you see we've got him here. He's coming along. He's a little bit together. We got a little paint where we didn't want it, but it's okay. Alright, so now the pants on them, I've been painting them, Castilian green, or so I've been kind of, these guys are, they're from the remnants of different units in the Imperium, or just civilians, so they have any reason to have any color of clothes on them that you would want. But the old Renegade Militia, I've been painting them, any of those models, I've been painting them having gray fatigues, because it works well. They don't look like your standard Cadians. So gray pants done, and you can see everything. There's a little bit of divide there. We might fix that because that looks kind of rough. And for what it's worth, that's basically it. So then we're gonna get our slightly smaller brush to make this easier. Just get our little screaming skull, and then we're just going to go over these little bandages you see on his hand right there. Just try not to cover up any of the other stuff, the metal or the cloth you just painted. And this doesn't have to be great because this isn't exactly a smooth color. It's going to be, it's just his bandages that he found and wrapped on himself. And these are actually on the boots here too. But let me just do these right here. Go around the bottom. He's got them wrapped around the sole. We'll just leave the other one. It's kind of down on the bottom. You won't see it anyway. So after that, you can see where we are here. And the only other thing left that you really probably would want to do is do the flesh on his fingers, because it does stick out pretty good. Depending on the ethnicity of the person you were wanting to paint, you may, with the rust color, you could probably just leave it. So we're going to pick out these fingers, just like that, just a little bit, not much. It only takes a second. Just get in there and do it. I really like this miniature. I really think it's got a lot of character. I have several of them in my little collection. My blobs of cultists. I've got about 60 of them, the old style of cultists. The new ones are really cool looking. I don't think I'll pick any of them up for my 40K purposes, but I was looking at them and I think I really like Mordheim. I like the setting of Mordheim, and I thought that those guys, these new cultists, would look really good as the Cult of the Possessed. Mix those up with some mutation bits and stuff like that. But yeah, see, that's all we've got so far. We're gonna, just for fun, we're gonna go back and kind of pick over that leather one more time, just because it looks kind of muted out, that color around there. So I'm just gonna grab a random brown here. This is Gold 4 brown which Goldthorpe Brown is actually really good color if you're trying to do flesh tones, like not Caucasian or anything, but just. I don't see a bee in your hair. It was a wife. But yeah, we're just gonna hit those. We'll stick out a little bit. Maybe kind of cover up these little blemishes we got on our little strap. Make it look a little better. But this is a quick method. This isn't a, super awesome high-end paint job we're going for, because these guys are cheap, expendable screens and objective holders, not really anything more. But yeah, we got a pretty good mix up there, and now almost the last part of this is we're going to give this guy just a wash with some Agrax Earth Shade, and that's going to create some nice shading for this miniature, and it's going to really bring out the browns that we left behind, and it'll darken them up a bit, and it'll make everything just how we want it. I'm just going to slather it on generously. We're going to try to fill in all the recesses with our gun. This is a terrible video. It is going to be, I bet it's going to come out fuzzy, not look great, but this is just giving you a quick idea of how to get these blobs of cultists done pretty quickly. Bet if you were batch painting and you kind of just separated all your colors and just did one color at a time, I bet you can get a unit, like a whole unit of 20 of these guys done in an evening. I mean, I'm not going to try that because I'm not really having any deadlines or anything, but I really bet you could. And that's it. That's basically it. He's freaking done, with the exception of the lenses on his eyes, which is another thing that I probably give you a little quick rundown on how I do that with one of these other models, is I'll just paint over it anyway. But that's it. You're gonna let him dry, and he's gonna look pretty slick, man. And watch that pooling right there. You don't want too much. I mean, he's gonna look like crap, and that's what we want. But this is what he'll look like, more or less, when he's done. Now those eyes, I'm going to show you how I pull those eyes off. It's super easy. Let me see, I had another one of those guys somewhere around here. Let's see. Here it is. This is the same one I had. I was going to paint two. I was going to paint one and then wash one, and then paint the other one and show you what it looked like after the wash, but I figured, yeah. Okay, so this Tesseract Glow is really a cool paint. If you haven't picked it up yet, you can do lots of fun stuff with it. I've just been using it basically to put a glow on my Legionary's eye lenses, or on like power weapons. It's really good on plasma guns. So I'm going with this bright green. I really like that color. It really looks good. It pops. But you can do all kinds of fun stuff with this. Like, for instance, like his eye lenses on this guy. You see there's a little dot there in the middle of it. You can see I painted this guy. I painted his eye lenses all around him. I painted it, I think it was Dawnstone. And then I went back in and I painted another smaller layer of, I think it was just some random white I had, and then I did a little dot of yellow in the middle. I'm doing that on pretty much everything here that I do the green with, and it really pops. But for these guys, I'm just taking, this is Reaper Miniatures Pure White. I'm just taking it, get a little bit down there. And I want to get, you know, a nice little tip on my brush. Real nice tip. And I'm going to go here on these eyeballs right there. I'm just going to paint little tiny dots on the middle of them. Small as I can get, just enough to pick out the surface of them, just like that. See? Just a little bit. Just on the highest point of the little bubbles that come out of there. And I'm going to let it dry for just half a second. As far as I'm going with that rust motif, I could probably just, you know, put some Cantor blue or some of that Calambite green on the cloak there, on his actual trench coat. Maybe drag the metallic across that, you know, auto gun, and this guy would be done too. And that's one thing I like about painting them this way with that brown base coat, is because, you know, you can pick a part of the model and decide, well, that's just going to be brown. And that's what I've been doing with a lot of these, and they're going really quick. But so then I just get that Tesseract Glow on here, and I just go around the eyes, make a little puddle around the eyes, just like that. You can see that, and when that dries, I mean, it looks pretty cool right there, but once it dries, it'll look even better. So that's really all it takes. I mean, I know it's like a 20-minute video, but you know, I tend to ramble. But you can see this guy; he's already kind of drying a little bit. Get an idea of what he's going to look like. Yeah, it'll be a little dark, and you know, you could always go back over these guys and do another layer of the same paint to kind of highlight the robes and stuff, but you know, why? All right, guys, that's it.